Hello and good evening. Welcome to the group. It's day 1 of November, so I wanted to just jump on. I know I haven't really been around. It's been crazy. I'm sure it's crazy for all of us. It's that time of year, of course, and I am exhausted right now. My husband's fighting a cold, and I was in a work training yesterday, and the person I was sitting next to was just coughing and sneezing all over the place. And so, I woke up this morning and I was not feeling super great. So I was like, oh man. And I'm not feeling great because I have my glasses on. Normally I'd never wear my glasses, but here we are. I wanted to show, excuse me, come on, introduce myself, introduce the group, so that you know what to expect, kind of what this group is about, how it's going to function, all that kind of good stuff. So at the beginning of each month, that's when we'll kick off with our book of the month, which is The Power of Habit. I hope you have yours. If not, that's okay. I don't expect that anybody started to read yet. So if you haven't received your book yet, that's okay. It comes pretty quick with Amazon, just 2 to 3 days, or most bookstores will have it too. It's a really, really awesome book, and I'm really, really excited to share all of this with you. So the purpose of this group is, as I've been reading books like this and similar, the theme being just how do you create successful habits, what makes a successful person successful, what are the habits that people have, the routines, goals, what do they do on a daily basis, what do they do on a weekly basis. That was a thing that I wanted to put under intense investigation, I guess. And when you get involved in wanting to know what makes a person successful, that leads you down another rabbit hole and another rabbit hole and another rabbit hole, because someone inspired them. So you find an inspiring person, and someone along the way has inspired them to achieve their goals and to achieve things. So when I've been reading all of these books, which has been an amazing journey for me, and I've created lives on my on my personal Facebook page and through my YouTube channel, I was getting a lot of people asking me for recommendations. They're like, oh, I know you're reading a lot. I know you do a lot of, I generally have a book that I am reading, and then I have an audiobook that I'm listening to. So people were always asking me for recommendations. Where do you get these ideas? What advice do you have? And I saw that there was a need, if you will, maybe a need, a want, a desire, a yearning, something of that nature, to learn more. And I'm going through that journey too. So while people are asking me about wanting to start their journey, I'm also on that journey. I'm just a little bit further ahead. So I'm reading these books, and they're great, and they're so wonderful, and the messages and the stories are phenomenal, as you will come to see. But what makes it difficult is that you read and you connect with a story, and there's one in here that I love, 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 love. I cannot wait to get to it. I don't want to do any spoilers. And you connect with this story, this person's success, or how they got to achieve a goal that they had. And when you're reading them by yourself, you're like, oh, it's like watching a really good show that no one else is watching. And you want to talk about it with somebody, or if you're the only one who watches The Bachelorette in your office, no one else watches it, it's just you, and you're like, oh my gosh, all this crazy stuff happened last night on The Bachelorette, and you want to talk about it and process it with other people, but everyone's like, that show's dumb, I don't watch it. And we're like, oh, okay, well, and if you hop on, feel free to just give me a shout out and say hi, let me know you're here. Even if you're watching it on replay, if you're watching this on replay, go ahead and hit replay and just say hi. I'm gonna drink some water because I'm trying to stay hydrated. So I wanted to create this environment where not only can I give great recommendations on the books that I have found to be very helpful for me and my personal journey, but create a space that we can all share those things so that we're all in this kind of together, in the sense that we have a place where we can come and say, that story, like, I loved it, and it's making me look at this aspect of my life differently, and now I know how to change my thought process, my routine, this unhealthy thing that I've been doing, my job, whatever it happens to be, because I think that we live in a time where it can be very difficult to discuss our goals without feeling like we're going to be judged and told that that's a stupid dream. Why would you think you should do that? Why do you think you could do that? Why do you think you could ever achieve that? And no dream is too big. The biggest proponent that I have had and that I have learned on this journey is believing in myself. And if I believe in myself and believe that I can do it, then it makes it amazing. And so I want to create this space for all of us, whether you have workout goals, whether you have career goals, whether you have family goals, whether you have relationship goals, academic goals, whatever goals that you have or are trying to figure out how you can become the best version of yourself and how that journey is going to look. I want to provide a space for you that we can all walk together and we can all learn about what makes somebody successful and talk about things that have been good for us, have been bad for us, or have just kind of been like, I tried it. The big underlining thing, though, is that I do want this to be a safe and positive place. So it's okay if you want to talk about, I did try that suggestion that they had, or, you know, last time I was in the group, we talked about blah, blah, blah. I tried it. It didn't work. It's okay to bring that failure, because that's going to happen. It's not a naughty word. It's okay to bring that failure to the table, but be able to talk about how you learned about it. That's how you make it positive. One of the big components that I've learned in this reading is that it's okay to talk about failure. It's okay to try and not have it work. It's okay to fail. That's not a bad word. But I don't want us to dwell on the failure. I don't want us to dwell on the negativity of a failure, because it's so easy to do that. So when we talk about failing or not meeting a goal or feeling like we're not successful in some aspect of our life, I also want you to be able to reflect on what you learned or what you're going to try differently, so that we maintain a vibe that is elevated, which is so important, and that's something that you're going to learn through this journey of us all together. So normally if you follow me on my social media, you know that I normally start my live videos off with a quote, and it's been a little bit difficult for me because that's how I like to start my live videos. And potentially in the future I may change it, but because I'm going to do a reading from the book, I didn't want to start with a quote because I kind of felt like that might be redundant, but I'm learning. We're all learning on this journey. So to kind of keep things on track, the book itself is 275 pages. So the month of November, we're going to go through the book. And because there's a holiday, there's a couple holidays, I know that people get busy, and I want to be respectful of that. The more you put into the readings and the participation, the more that you're going to get out of this group. So I highly encourage you to stay on track with the reading. If you don't, that's okay too. I know we all get busy. So this month, and there's more than 275 pages. I'm going to be honest with you right now. There is a prologue, and there are a couple of, he has a notes section that he has made, and as well as an appendix and an afterwards and acknowledgement. So there's a lot of stuff at the end of the book that I'm not including in that 275, but will likely still talk about at the end of the month because there is still some really good information. So, but I don't want you to be surprised if you're only reading the book, or if you're even listening to it as an audiobook. That's a great option too. If you are not in a space where reading a physical book, or even on your Kindle or other technology, that's okay. You can listen to this as an audiobook and then still be able to bring the general concepts that are talked about in the book to the group. So if you are short for time, doing this as an audiobook is a fantastic option. So my goals for you to remain on track so that we can all continue to remain on the same page, if you will, is between now and the 10th to get anywhere between pages 100 to 110. I like to leave, the reason why I'm giving you a little bit of a gap is because I don't want you to feel like if I say you need to make it to 102 and you make it to 98. I don't want you to feel like you failed somehow. I want to just kind of give you guys all just a rough range so that way we've basically all gotten to that same chunk of reading, but maybe page-wise we're a little bit different, or some people are ahead. So from today through November 10th, I want you to get up to at least page 100. If you read a couple pages past that, that's great too. The 10th through the 20th, 110 through 200. Then the 20th through the end of the month, 200 onward, depending on if you just decide to read just to the end of the book or if you want to read the additional pages. I wanted to stagger it so that the bulk of the book would be towards the beginning of the month, because we have a holiday at the end of the month, and Thanksgiving is on a Thursday, so I know that ends up being pretty much an entire holiday weekend versus just like one day. So I do want to keep us on track to finish the book on time. If you finish it in 2 days, perfect. I suggest you take notes in the book. I always do. I'm always jotting down little notes. I'm underlining things. I'm making notes for myself to reference at all times in the books that I read, because that's where I get a lot of my material, and I think that it's so important to be able to have a quick reference to come back to that and be like, boom, that was a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and just read the first page for you. This is something that's like really nerve-wracking for me, which is why I challenged myself to do it, because that's what this is about. It's about putting yourself out of the comfort zone, and reading aloud is like kind of a fear of mine. I don't want to say it's a fear, but it's very uncomfortable for me. So, especially doing it live. So, yay. But I'm just going to read the first page. I just want to give you guys a chance to get started and kind of know where we're at. So, page 1, The Habit Loop, How Habits Work. In the fall of 1993, a man who would append much of what we know about habits walked into a laboratory in San Diego for a scheduled appointment. He was elderly, a shade over 6 feet tall, and neatly dressed in a blue button-down shirt. His thick white hair would have inspired envy at any 50th high school reunion. Arthritis caused him to limp slightly as he paced the laboratory hallways. And he held his wife's hand, walking slowly as if unsure about what each new step would bring. About a year earlier, Eugene Pauly, or EP, as he would come to be known in medical literature, had been at home in Playa del Rey preparing for dinner when his wife mentioned that their son, Michael, was coming over. "Who's Michael?" Eugene asked. "Your child," said his wife, Beverly. "You know, the one we raised." Eugene looked at her blankly. "Who is that?" he asked. So, just a little taste to get you going. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So, I'll be posting every couple of days. just little tidbits. I don't want to post anything now necessarily because no one, I'm assuming, has started to read the book, but be on the lookout for my posts. I'll be just trying to get discussions going about kind of what's happening as we're going along, just little thoughts about this month's topic, which is routines. So I'll be asking for engagement around some routines and how to examine that. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me. Send me a Facebook message or just leave a message here. Just let me know. I do post all of my videos to my YouTube channel, Bottomless Beauty Bar. So anything that you need in regards to this group or anything else that I happen to do or be working on, which I've got tons of motivational stuff on there too. It's all there for you. And we'll be talking again soon. All right. Hope you have a wonderful night.